Seducing women is a game, and most men are playing it blind. Folks, let's be honest. You've probably been there. You say the right things, give attention, show interest, maybe even try to impress, and somehow it still goes nowhere. She loses interest. She pulls back. Or worse, she keeps you around but never fully wants you. And you're left wondering what you missed, because on the surface, you did everything you were told to do. Here's the uncomfortable truth most men never hear. Attraction is not created by effort, it's created by position. And the moment you start chasing approval, explaining yourself, or trying to be chosen, you've already lost leverage. My friend, I'm not here to comfort you. I'm here to wake you up. Most men confuse attention with desire. They think being noticed means being wanted. It doesn't. Desire responds to something much deeper: presence, control, emotional rhythm. There are invisible rules at play, and once you see them, the entire dynamic changes. This video is not about tricks or lines. It's about understanding the game beneath the surface, the psychological frame that flips the power without you forcing anything. When you master it, attraction stops feeling random. It becomes predictable, almost inevitable. Stay with me, because we're going to break down exactly where men lose the game and what actually makes desire switch on in her mind and body. Let's get into it. Number 1. Why men lose before attraction starts. Folks, here is the part nobody warns you about. Most men lose before attraction even has a chance to form. Not because they are unattractive, not because they lack experience, but because they step into the interaction already trying to be chosen. Let's speak plainly. The moment you seek approval, the frame collapses. Think about how this usually begins. A man meets a woman he finds attractive, and his behavior shifts instantly. His voice softens. His timing changes. He starts watching her reactions instead of staying in his body. He is no longer present. He is performing. From that moment on, attraction struggles to breathe. Let's call it what it is. Attraction is not built on effort. It is built on posture. When your posture says, "I hope she likes me," you hand over leverage before anything happens. Women do not respond to that posture with desire. They respond with evaluation, and evaluation kills tension. Consider Jason, 46, from San Diego, recently divorced, successful, physically in shape. He meets Amanda, 40, at a mutual friends gathering. At first, the conversation flows easily. Jason feels a spark and immediately leans in. He texts the next day, then again later that night. He explains his intentions early. He wants clarity. Amanda does not reject him. She simply cools off. Jason thinks he needs to show more interest. In reality, he already lost the frame. Now, look at a different outcome. Months later, Jason meets Lauren, 43. This time he stays grounded. He listens without rushing. He shares without oversharing. He leaves conversations before they fade. He does not seek reassurance. Lauren feels something different. Not pressure, not urgency, calm interest. And that calm allows attraction to grow naturally. Here is the psychological truth. Women do not feel attraction through logic. They feel it through emotional positioning. A man who seeks approval feels uncertain. A man who stands complete feels solid. One invites judgment, the other invites curiosity. Let's be honest with ourselves. The moment you try to win her, you place her above you. You turn the interaction into an audition. Even if she is interested at first, that imbalance slowly drains desire. Attraction requires polarity. Polarity disappears when you chase validation. This is where Stoicism quietly enters the picture. A Stoic man does not walk into interactions hoping for an outcome. He walks in governed by himself. Marcus Aurelius reminded us that a man's value is measured by what he pursues. If you pursue approval, you shrink your presence. If you pursue self-command, your presence expands. Think about Robert, 55, from Minneapolis. He dates Karen, 48. Robert does not rush connection. He stays warm without hovering. When Karen takes longer to respond, Robert does not react emotionally. He continues his routine. That steadiness creates something rare. Karen begins to lean in, not because Robert chased, but because he did not need to. Men lose early because they confuse interest with need. Interest is calm and grounded. Need is loud even when it says nothing. Women sense that difference immediately. If this sounds familiar, drop a comment below and write, "I see the pattern." Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. Stay with me, because the next part exposes why attention destroys desire when you misunderstand it, and you do not want to miss this. Number 2. Attention never creates desire. Folks, let's clear up one of the biggest lies men have been sold. Attention does not create desire. It never has. It only creates familiarity. And familiarity without tension leads to indifference, not attraction. Most men lose the moment they confuse being noticed with being wanted. Let's talk honestly. Giving attention feels productive. Texting more, checking in, complimenting, being available. It feels like you are investing. But desire does not grow from investment. It grows from contrast. When everything is offered freely, nothing carries weight. Attention without restraint removes mystery, and mystery is the fuel of desire. Here is the psychological reality. Attention is passive. Desire is active. Attention says, "I am here." Desire says, "I am drawn." Those are not the same thing. A woman can receive endless attention and feel nothing, but give her space paired with grounded presence, and her mind starts leaning forward. Stoicism understood this long before modern psychology. Epictetus said, "If you seek to please others, you will be a slave." The moment you use attention as a tool to win affection, you hand over control. You start reacting instead of leading. And when you react, attraction dissolves. Most men believe attention proves value. In truth, attention often signals the opposite. It signals that your emotional center is outside yourself. You are watching her reactions. You are adjusting your behavior. You are measuring your worth through her response. Women feel this immediately, even if they cannot explain it. Let's be very clear. This is not about ignoring women. It is about understanding the role attention actually plays. Attention is neutral. It only amplifies what is already there. If your posture is needy, attention amplifies need. If your posture is centered, attention becomes optional. And optional attention feels powerful. Marcus Aurelius warned us about this trap when he said, "The more we value things outside our control, the less control we have." Her response is, outside your control. When you pour attention into controlling it, you lose yourself. Desire cannot grow in that environment. Here is the deeper layer most men miss. Desire responds to emotional economy. When attention is scarce but intentional, it feels meaningful. When attention is constant, it feels cheap. This is not cruelty. This is how the nervous system works. It values what is not always available. Stoic discipline teaches restraint, not deprivation. You do not withhold attention to provoke anxiety. You regulate attention to maintain balance. Seneca said, "Self-control is the greatest empire." A man who controls his impulses controls the emotional tone of the interaction. When you stop flooding the connection with attention, something shifts. Silence becomes noticeable. Presence becomes felt. Your words land heavier because there are fewer of them. That weight is what creates desire. Another hard truth: attention seeks comfort. Desire thrives on tension. Comfort says everything is safe and known. Tension says there is more to discover. When you give constant attention, you resolve tension too quickly. Desire fades because there is nothing left to explore. Stoicism is not about being distant, it is about being deliberate. You give attention when it aligns with your values, not when you feel anxious. That difference changes everything. You stop chasing reactions. You start choosing engagement. If you understand this, you stop asking, "How do I get her attention?" You start asking, "How do I maintain my center?" And when you maintain your center, attention becomes unnecessary. Desire forms on its own. If this clicks, drop a comment and write, "I stop chasing." Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. Stay with me, because the next part exposes why validation destroys attraction faster than rejection ever could, and you do not want to miss this. Number 3. Stop validating her if you want her. Folks, let's speak plainly. Validation feels kind, but it quietly kills attraction when it becomes your default move. Most men think validation builds comfort, and comfort builds desire. That's backwards. Comfort without tension turns into familiarity, and familiarity turns into being overlooked. Here's what validation looks like in real life. You agree too quickly. You compliment too often. You reassure before there's any real doubt. You mirror her opinions so there's no friction. You think you're being supportive, but what you're really doing is flattening the emotional landscape. Desire needs contrast. Validation removes it. Let's be real for a second. Validation says, "I want you to feel good about yourself." Attraction says, "I want to see who you really are." When you validate constantly, you stop being a man with a point of view and become a mirror. Mirrors are useful, but they are not exciting. Consider Eric, 48, from Denver. He met Melissa, 42, through a dating app. Early on, Eric was attentive and agreeable. When Melissa talked about her work, he praised her. When she complained about dating, he reassured her. When she questioned her choices, he smoothed everything over. Melissa liked Eric. She felt safe with him. But something was missing. She felt no pull. Eric later noticed a pattern. Women enjoyed talking to him, but the energy never crossed into desire. When he slowed down and stopped validating every thought, something shifted. He listened without rescuing. He disagreed calmly when it mattered. He let silence sit instead of filling it with praise. Suddenly, women leaned in more. Here's the psychological reason. Validation places her above you. It frames you as the emotional provider and her as the evaluator. That dynamic removes polarity. Attraction needs polarity. It needs two grounded positions, not one person performing for approval. Now look at another situation. Michael, 55, from Boston, dated Karen, 47. Karen was used to men validating her constantly. Michael did not do that. He was respectful, but he did not rush to reassure. When Karen tested him with self-doubt, Michael stayed calm and present. He did not argue her feelings away. He did not praise her out of discomfort. Karen later admitted she felt more drawn to him because he did not treat her emotions like something fragile. That's the key difference. Validation tries to manage her emotions. Presence allows her to feel them. One creates dependence, the other creates desire. Let's get honest again. This does not mean being cold or dismissive. It means you stop handing out approval as currency. You speak when you mean it. You compliment when it's real. You agree when it's true for you. That authenticity creates tension because it is unpredictable. Women do not want to be constantly validated. They want to be seen. Being seen requires discernment, not applause. When you stop validating reflexively, you become a man with standards. Standards are attractive. If you are worried that stopping validation will push her away, that fear is the problem. Desire responds to a man who can stand on his own emotional ground. When you validate less, your words carry more weight. If this hit home, drop a comment and write, "I stop validating." Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. Stay with me, because the next part shows how your presence in the first moments decides everything, and you don't want to miss that. Number 4. Your presence is the real seduction. Folks, let's get something straight right now. Seduction does not start with words. It starts before you open your mouth. Your presence decides everything long before effort, attention, or intention ever come into play. Most men focus on what to say when the real signal is who they are being in the moment. Let's be real about why this matters. A woman's nervous system reads presence faster than language. She feels your pace, your posture, your emotional steadiness. She senses whether you are relaxed or trying, whether you are grounded or seeking approval. Words come later. Presence comes first. Here is where men usually lose the plot. They think presence is confidence, theater, strong eye contact, firm voice, controlled gestures. Those things matter, but they are surface level. Real presence comes from inner order, from emotional regulation, from not needing the interaction to go a certain way. Stoicism understood this long ago. Epictetus said, first say to yourself what you would be, and then do what you have to do. Presence is not something you put on. It is something you live from. When your inner state is calm and self-governed, your external presence carries weight without effort. Let's break it down simply. A man with presence is not rushing the moment. He is not filling silence to avoid discomfort. He is not leaning forward emotionally. He is upright inside himself. That upright posture creates sexual tension because it introduces polarity. She feels that she is stepping into your frame, not the other way around. Marcus Aurelius wrote that tranquility comes when you stop caring what others say or do, but only what you do yourself. That mindset is magnetic. When you are not scanning for approval, your attention becomes focused instead of scattered. Focused attention feels intimate. Scattered attention feels needy. Most men try to seduce by adding something: more energy, more charm, more validation. Presence works by removing excess. You remove urgency. You remove emotional noise. You remove the need to impress. What remains is clarity. And clarity is deeply attractive. Here's an uncomfortable truth. If your presence feels anxious, no technique will save you. You can memorize lines, slow your speech, control your body language, and it will still leak. Women are extremely sensitive to emotional incongruence. They don't analyze it, they feel it. Stoicism offers the antidote. Seneca said that the greatest remedy for anger is delay. The same applies to desire. When you slow yourself internally, you slow the interaction. Slowness creates rhythm. Rhythm creates anticipation. Anticipation is the root of seduction. Your presence becomes seductive when it feels self-contained, when you are comfortable with pauses, when you let moments end naturally, when you don't chase continuation. That signals abundance, not of women, but of inner stability. This is why presence beats performance every time. Performance tries to manage perception. Presence allows perception to form organically. One is exhausting. The other is effortless. If you want to build this at a deeper level, this is exactly what we work on inside the members area. YouTube can point you in the right direction, but mastering presence requires practice, feedback, and discipline. Inside the membership, we break down how to regulate your inner state, your pace, and your emotional frame in real situations. If you're serious about becoming this man, consider joining us. Now check in with yourself. If this clicked, drop a comment and write, "I hold my frame." Stick with me because this is just the beginning. Stay with me because the next part shows why mystery always beats effort, and you don't want to miss this. Number 5. Mystery beats effort every time. Folks, here's a hard truth most men resist. Effort feels noble, but mystery is what creates desire. When you explain everything, reveal everything, and show all your cards, you remove tension. And without tension, attraction fades fast. Mystery is not about hiding. It's about not overexposing yourself emotionally. Let's be real about what effort looks like in dating. You text quickly. You clarify intentions early. You answer every question fully. You make sure she knows where you stand. That feels honest. But it also removes uncertainty. And uncertainty is the space where desire grows. Think about Paul, 50, from Atlanta. He met Dana, 44, through mutual friends. Paul liked her and decided to be upfront. He explained his interest, his values, his long-term goals within weeks. Dana appreciated the honesty, but something cooled. Paul became predictable, safe, easy to understand. Desire quietly slipped away. Later, Paul met Rachel, 46. This time, he slowed down. He didn't rush explanations. He shared pieces, not his entire inner world. When conversations ended, he let them end. When questions came, he answered honestly but briefly. Rachel found herself thinking about him between meetings, replaying moments, wondering what else there was beneath the surface. That's the power of mystery, not deception, restraint. Here's the psychology behind it. Effort tries to convince. Mystery invites curiosity. When you over-explain, you remove the need for her mind to engage. When you leave space, her imagination steps in, and imagination is far more powerful than information. Men often fear mystery because they confuse it with distance. They worry she'll lose interest. In reality, she loses interest when everything is already known. Mystery signals confidence. It says, I don't need to prove myself. I trust the process. Look at another example. Stephen, 57, from Sacramento, dated Linda, 49. Stephen was thoughtful but not verbose. He didn't narrate his emotions. He let his actions speak. Linda noticed that other men tried harder than Stephen, but she felt more drawn to him. His calm restraint made her lean in emotionally. Mystery also protects your frame. When you reveal everything too quickly, you place her in control of pacing. Mystery keeps pacing balanced. It allows attraction to unfold naturally instead of being forced forward. Let's be clear, mystery is not playing games. It's emotional economy. You share when it matters. You stay silent when silence adds weight. You don't rush to fill gaps. Gaps are where desire breathes. Effort seeks reassurance. Mystery signals abundance. A man with abundance doesn't explain himself into attraction. He lets attraction come to him. If you've been trying harder and getting less, drop a comment and write, I choose mystery. Stick with me, because this is just the beginning. The next part shows why talking too much quietly kills attraction, so stay right here. Number 6. Talking too much kills attraction. Folks, let's get brutally honest here. Talking too much doesn't make you interesting. It makes you predictable. And predictability is the fastest way to drain attraction out of an interaction. Most men talk because they are uncomfortable with silence, not because they have something meaningful to say. Let's be real. When a man keeps explaining, clarifying, justifying, or narrating his thoughts, he is not building connection. He is managing anxiety. He is trying to control how he is perceived. And the moment you start managing perception, you lose presence. Attraction does not live in words. It lives in what is felt between words. Here is the core problem. Speech resolves tension. Attraction needs tension. When you explain everything, you close every loop immediately. There is nothing left for her mind to explore. No curiosity, no anticipation, no pull. Silence, when held calmly, does the opposite. It opens space, and space is where desire grows. Stoicism addresses this directly. Epictetus said, "We have 2 ears and 1 mouth, so that we may listen more and speak less." That was not advice for politeness. It was instruction for power. A man who speaks less observes more, and a man who observes more stays in control of the frame. Most men talk themselves out of attraction by oversharing too early. They reveal their intentions too fast. They explain their feelings before they are asked. They answer questions that were never posed. This floods the interaction. It removes mystery. It removes rhythm. And rhythm is essential to seduction. Let's speak plainly again. When you talk too much, you lower your value in the interaction. Not because words are bad, but because excess signals need. It signals that you are trying to secure something. And the moment you try to secure desire, desire slips away. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "If you are pained by any external thing, it is not this thing that disturbs you, but your judgment about it." Talking too much is often a reaction to inner disturbance. Silence requires emotional regulation. That regulation is felt, and what is felt matters far more than what is said. Here's the distinction most men miss. Silence is not absence. Silence is containment. A contained man feels grounded. A contained man does not rush to fill gaps. He lets moments breathe. He allows the interaction to develop its own pace instead of forcing one. Stoicism teaches restraint, not suppression. Seneca warned that even excessive virtue becomes a vice. Talking is the same. Even honesty, when unrestrained, becomes self-sabotage. You do not need to reveal everything to be authentic. You need to reveal what is appropriate for the moment. Another truth. Women listen to tone and timing more than content. When you speak less, your words carry weight. When you speak constantly, your words blur together. Scarcity applies to attention, presence, and speech. This is why powerful men throughout history were known for measured speech, not because they were quiet by nature, but because they understood leverage. Silence keeps leverage. Talking gives it away. Let's be clear. This does not mean being withdrawn or robotic. It means being deliberate. You speak when it adds value. You pause when a pause deepens the moment. You stop trying to explain yourself into attraction. If you feel the urge to keep talking, that is your cue to slow down internally. Regulate first. Speak second. That alone will change how you are experienced. If this resonates, drop a comment and write, "I speak less." Stay with me, because this is just the beginning. The next part reveals the emotional rhythm that hooks her instincts before logic ever gets involved, and you don't want to miss that. Number 7. The rhythm that hooks her instincts. Folks, let's get real about something most men never notice. Attraction is not triggered by what you say. It is triggered by rhythm. The pace of your voice, the timing of your responses, the way you enter and exit moments. Rhythm speaks directly to instinct, and instinct decides desire long before logic gets involved. Most men move too fast. They reply too quickly. They escalate too soon. They try to lock things down before the emotional beat has even formed. That rush feels chaotic, and chaos shuts attraction down. A woman's instincts respond to steadiness, not speed. Think about Kevin, 49, from San Jose. Kevin met Laura, 43, at a small dinner party. Early on, Kevin liked her energy and leaned in hard. He texted the same night. He followed up the next morning. He kept the conversation going even when it had a natural stopping point. Laura did not reject him, but she felt overwhelmed. The rhythm felt off, too fast, too eager. Now look at what happened when Kevin adjusted. With another woman, Michelle, 45, he slowed down. He let conversations end cleanly. He waited before responding, not as a tactic, but because he stayed engaged in his own life. When they met, his tone was relaxed. His pauses felt comfortable. Michelle later told him something important. She said being around him felt calming and exciting at the same time. That is rhythm done right. Here is why this works. Rhythm creates emotional safety while preserving tension. When your pacing is calm and deliberate, her nervous system relaxes. When your presence is not predictable, curiosity stays alive. Those two together create instinctive pull. Most men think rhythm is about timing texts. It is not. It is about internal tempo. When your mind is rushed, your body communicates that. When your mind is settled, your movements slow, your voice steadies, your eye contact softens. That internal rhythm is what she feels. Look at another example. Daniel, 54, from Raleigh, dated Sarah, 47. Daniel had a habit of filling silence. He thought silence meant disinterest. Once he learned to sit in pauses, everything changed. Sarah began leaning in more, talking more, opening up. Daniel did less, but the connection felt stronger. His rhythm gave her space to step forward. Here is the instinctive layer. Women are highly sensitive to pacing because pacing signals control. A man who can slow down without freezing signals confidence. A man who speeds up signals anxiety. Instinct responds to confidence every time. This is why emotional rhythm hooks deeper than words. Words can be analyzed. Rhythm is felt. And what is felt stays in the body longer than what is understood. Let's be honest. When you rush, you are trying to get somewhere. When you slow down, you are comfortable where you are. Comfort in the present moment is seductive. It says you are not chasing an outcome. If you want to test this, pay attention to how you end interactions. Do you stretch them too long? Do you force one more message? Or do you let them end while the energy is still good? Ending on a high note is rhythm mastery. If this resonates, drop a comment and write, "I control my pace." Stick with me because this is just the beginning. The next part reveals how calm dominance works beneath the surface, and you do not want to miss this. Stay with me. Number 8. Calm dominance makes her submit. Folks, let's define this carefully because most men misunderstand it. Calm dominance is not force. It is not pressure. It is not control over another person. Calm dominance is self-control made visible. And when a man governs himself without effort, something instinctive happens on the other side. Resistance softens, tension relaxes, desire leans forward. Let's be real. Loud dominance repels. Aggressive dominance triggers defense. But calm dominance feels safe and powerful at the same time. It tells her nervous system, nothing needs to be forced here. And that safety is exactly what allows desire to open. Most men think dominance is about asserting, correcting, or leading overtly. That's surface level. Calm dominance shows up as steadiness. You don't rush. You don't overreact. You don't explain yourself under pressure. You stay centered while the emotional weather changes around you. That composure is felt immediately. Stoicism speaks directly to this. Epictetus said, "No man is free who is not master of himself." When you master your impulses, your reactions slow. When your reactions slow, your presence becomes grounded. And grounded presence is dominant without trying to be. Here's the paradox. The less you try to lead, the more leadership is felt. Calm dominance removes the need to convince. You don't push direction. Direction emerges. You don't chase compliance. Cooperation happens naturally. Marcus Aurelius wrote, "The best way to avenge yourself is to be unlike him who did the injury." In this context, it means you do not mirror emotional chaos with emotional force. You respond with stability. That contrast is powerful. Chaos collapses in the presence of calm. This is why calm dominance creates submission in the right sense of the word. Not submission as weakness, but surrender of resistance. Her body stops bracing. Her mind stops testing. She doesn't feel the need to control the interaction because you are already controlling yourself. Most men try to dominate by talking more, explaining more, escalating faster. Calm dominance does the opposite. It slows the tempo. It allows pauses. It holds eye contact without demanding anything. That non-demand is what creates trust. Seneca warned that he who is everywhere is nowhere. A calm, dominant man is not everywhere emotionally. He is contained. That containment gives his attention weight. When he speaks, it lands. When he pauses, it deepens the moment. Here's an important distinction. Calm dominance is not emotional withdrawal. It is emotional regulation. You stay warm, you stay present, but you don't overinvest. That balance tells her you are capable of holding space without needing to fill it. When a woman senses this, her instincts respond. She relaxes into the interaction. She stops testing boundaries. She becomes more receptive. Not because she is overpowered, but because she feels led by stability instead of pushed by force. Let's speak plainly again. If you feel the need to assert dominance, you don't have it. Calm dominance does not announce itself. It is recognized. And recognition is what creates polarity. This is the level where attraction stops feeling fragile. You don't worry about losing ground because you are standing on it. You don't chase desire because desire comes toward what feels solid. If this lands for you, drop a comment and write "I stay centered." Stick with me because this is just the beginning. The next part shows how this calm dominance becomes the frame that makes her follow your lead without you ever asking. Stay right here. Number 9. The frame that makes her follow you. Folks, let's talk about frame, because this is where everything either comes together or falls apart. A frame is not a technique, it's not a line, it's not something you say to sound confident. Frame is the invisible structure that decides who adjusts to whom. And in attraction, the person with the stronger frame sets the direction without ever needing to demand it. Most men think following happens because a woman is convinced, persuaded, or impressed. That's wrong. Following happens when she feels your emotional world is more stable than hers in that moment. Not dominant, not controlling, stable. When your frame holds, her instincts relax and align with it. Let's look at a real situation. Chris is 48 from Nashville. He meets Amanda, 42, through friends. Amanda is smart, social, used to attention. Early on, she subtly tests Chris. She changes plans last minute. She pulls back slightly to see if he reacts. Chris doesn't confront. He doesn't over-accommodate either. He calmly sticks to what he already planned and says, "No worries, we'll catch up another time." His tone doesn't change. His mood doesn't drop. That moment matters more than any compliment. Chris didn't resist her. He didn't chase her. He stayed inside his frame. And because of that, Amanda adjusted, not consciously, instinctively. She started checking in more, asking when they'd see each other. That's following. Now contrast that with another pattern. Mark, 51, from New Jersey, dates a woman named Elaine, 46. Elaine pulls back one week and Mark panics. He asks what's wrong. He reassures. He explains his intentions again. His frame collapses. Elaine doesn't respect him less as a person, but she stops feeling led. The dynamic flips. She starts deciding the pace, the tone, the direction. Desire weakens. Here's the key difference. Chris didn't need Amanda to validate his mood. Mark did. That's frame in action. Frame is emotional consistency. It's responding the same way whether she leans in or pulls back. It's not punishing distance, and it's not rewarding unpredictability. It's staying aligned with yourself, regardless of her fluctuations. Think about Daniel, 56, from Arizona. He's dating Laura, 49. Laura likes to test with opinions, push back little disagreements. Daniel doesn't argue to win. He states his view calmly and lets it stand. He doesn't need agreement to feel secure. Laura notices that conversations don't derail him. Over time, she starts deferring more, not because Daniel dominates, but because his frame feels solid. That's how following works at this stage of life. It's not about excitement, it's about trust in your center. Women follow men who feel emotionally self-sourced. When your reactions don't depend on her approval, your frame becomes the anchor. She doesn't have to manage you. She doesn't have to test as much. She can relax into the dynamic. Here's a hard truth. If you are constantly adjusting to keep her interested, she will never follow you. She will evaluate you. And evaluation kills polarity. Following requires polarity. Polarity requires one stable axis. Frame is built in small moments. How you handle silence. How you respond to delays. How you hold your ground without explanation. Those moments stack. If this resonates, drop a comment and write, "I hold my frame." Stick with me because this is just the beginning. The final part ties everything together and shows you the Stoic trick that makes attraction feel inevitable, not forced. Stay right here. Number 10. The Stoic trick that makes desire inevitable. Folks, let's close this with the one idea that holds everything together. Desire becomes inevitable when you stop trying to create it and start living inside a frame that does not depend on it. That is the Stoic trick. Not control. Not persuasion. Self-mastery. When your inner state is ordered, attraction stops feeling fragile and starts feeling natural. Here's the shift most men never make. They think desire is something to spark, something to maintain, something to protect. That mindset keeps them reactive. The Stoic approach is different. You don't manage desire, you manage yourself. And when you do that, consistently desire forms around you without effort. Let's be real for a moment. The more you monitor her reactions, the more you give away your center. The more you try to secure outcomes, the more anxious your presence becomes. Stoicism removes that anxiety by changing the question you ask. Instead of asking, "How do I make her want me?" you ask, "How do I remain governed, grounded, and aligned, regardless of outcome?" That question changes everything. Marcus Aurelius said the impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. In attraction, uncertainty is the impediment. Most men try to eliminate it. The Stoic man uses it to deepen his composure. He does not rush to resolve tension. He holds it calmly. That calm becomes attractive because it is rare. Here's a different way to look at it. Desire grows where there is freedom. Freedom from pressure. Freedom from expectation. Freedom from emotional management. When you are free inside yourself, the interaction feels open instead of heavy. She does not feel steered, she feels invited, and invitation is far more powerful than pursuit. Stoicism teaches emotional ownership. Epictetus said, "It is not things themselves that disturb us, but our judgments about them." Apply that here. Her response is not the problem, your interpretation of it is. When you stop assigning meaning to every delay, every shift, every silence, your nervous system settles. That settled state is felt immediately. This is why desire becomes inevitable. Not because you are doing something clever, but because you are no longer doing what kills attraction. You are not chasing. You are not validating excessively. You are not flooding attention. You are not collapsing your frame under pressure. You are steady. Let's change the structure for a moment and make this practical. The Stoic trick has 3 parts. First, regulate before you respond. Second, act from principle, not impulse. Third, accept outcomes without resentment. When these 3 are in place, your presence feels clean. No hidden agenda, no grasping, no performance. Seneca warned that he who suffers before it is necessary suffers more than is necessary. Men suffer in attraction because they imagine loss before it happens. That imagined loss drives need. Need drives behavior. Behavior kills desire. Stoicism cuts that chain at the source. Here is the final truth. Desire is not fragile when it is allowed to form naturally. It becomes fragile only when you try to hold it. When you live inside the Stoic frame, you don't hold desire. You let it come and go without panic. That non-attachment is exactly what keeps it coming back. So, if you want desire to feel inevitable, stop trying to win it. Win yourself. Govern your emotions. Hold your standards. Stay warm without leaning. Calm without withdrawing. That is the Stoic trick. And when you live it, attraction stops being a game. You play and becomes a consequence of who you are. Folks, today we broke down why seduction isn't about effort, tricks, or chasing attention. It's about frame presence, emotional rhythm, and self-control. You saw how most men lose before attraction even starts, why attention and validation kill desire, and how calm dominance and stoic discipline make attraction feel natural instead of forced. The value here is simple. When you govern yourself, desire stops being random. It becomes predictable. If you want to take this further and actually live these principles, I invite you to join the members area. That's where we go deeper into self-mastery, real-world application, and building the inner discipline that creates lasting attraction. Watching videos is one thing, training yourself is another. Make sure you're subscribed to the channel so you don't miss the next video. Each one builds on what you learned today. Thank you for spending your time with me. I appreciate you, and I'll see you again tomorrow.